That scene didn't thrill me, and I live in Chicago. This picture, which is attributed to Chicago, which is also writer-director John Hughes' hometown, is not as fresh or as funny or as energetic as another Chicago tribute movie, The Blues Brothers. And frankly, that's because Ferris Bueller doesn't do anything much fun. The fancy restaurant scene is a weak imitation of the one in Beverly Hills Cop. The way Ferris fools his principal in ditching school is ridiculous low comedy. Nothing special happens when the kids go to a ball game and they don't even sit in the bleachers where all the kids love to sit when they go to Cubs games. How bad is this film? The most interesting characters are developed right at the end of this picture. A little romance develops between Ferris's mean sister, Jennifer Grey, who's kind of cute, and a troublemaking kid played by Charlie Sheen.
Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert were renowned for their movie critiques, but occasionally they missed the mark. Whether it's praising a film that underperformed or dismissing a cult classic, their opinions didn't always line up with the masses. Although Ferris Bueller's Day Off became one of the most iconic teen films of the 80s, it wasn't exactly embraced by Siskel and Ebert, who didn't quite see its charm.
It's a great movie to look at, but a hard one to care about. I didn't appreciate the predictable story, the standard characters, the cliffhanging cliches, but I do think the special effects make Blade Runner worth going to see.
I agree with part of your review. Predictable, cliches.
What about the special effects?
Dazzling for the first 20 minutes, and then what? I mean, this story goes no place as far as I'm concerned. I invested a lot of energy in this movie watching it because it was so striking looking. And Harrison Ford is an attractive actor, and he does take us through any adventure that he's in. But I'm sitting there halfway through the picture saying, where is this going? And when it's over, I think I've wasted my time.
Blade Runner didn't initially land with Siskel and Ebert, but over time, it earned a reputation as one of the greatest sci-fi films ever made.
I gave a marginal thumbs down to the original Home Alone. I really don't like those burglars. This time I appreciated Macaulay Culkin more. He has a special gift. He is positively charming. But this time, too, I felt the burglar scenes were even more annoying. Again, marginal thumbs down for me on Home Alone 2, and I know that every 10-year-old kid in America is going to hate me for it.
Well, I won't hate you for it, Gene, because my thumb is not even marginally down, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I didn't even go for the Brenda Fricker scenes because I thought that they went on way too long, were overwritten and treacly and sentimental and shameless in the way that the little twerp kind of lectures her on the meaning of life and the meaning of truth, and she's so grateful to find out these words of wisdom.
Siskel and Ebert weren't as enthusiastic about Home Alone 2 as audiences were, but the film went on to gross nearly $350 million worldwide.
Wow, that's boring. I've had more fun with sand at the beach. I think it's impossible for anyone who hasn't read the Dune books to follow what's going on in this story, which is needlessly complicated. And then there is a whole layer of ugliness throughout the picture. A guy with boils all over his face, the ripping open of people's chests, a premature birth of a baby in blood. Why all of that garbage? Dune is an unintelligible gross out.
Unbelievable. Maybe people should just watch our show, right? We haven't made a mistake since you like falling in laws.
The original Dune was a disappointment for Siskel and Ebert, but it went on to inspire a massive franchise and earned an Oscar nomination.
Babe, Pig in the City was directed, co-written, and co-produced by George Miller, who has made an even better film than the original. I was startled how much I liked it.
This is a magnificent, towering achievement. We're dazzled by it. You take any 5-10 minute section of this picture, and you think of the work that went into the construction, the physical construction, the wit of the writing, and the charm, of course, of Babe.
And every single shot in this movie is enchanting and delightful and magical in its own way.
So rich and wonderful, so you want to see it again. And I got an idea for George Miller for another sequel. Use the duck more.
Despite Gene's high praise for Babe, Pig in the City, the movie failed to connect with audiences, losing $20 million.
Was rooting for it. I mean, I thought, everyone's talking about it. That's when I saw it a little bit late, and I was not impressed. I don't know why. Other than to say that the action seemed to be pretty much routine. There was a lot of the futuristic stuff on the planet where this guy's come from, and that seemed to me to be just a Rector set toy making. The love story that you talk about actually is kind of nice, and I think that within that little love story is actually a potential for a full-scale film. If it had been about that, I would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Well, the whole paradox, which I won't give away, but the whole paradox of who that guy is and the fact that he and this woman fall in love,
that's nice,
is poignant.
Despite Siskel and Ebert's mixed reviews, Terminator eventually became a beloved franchise, grossing $80 million and cementing its place in cinematic history.
But in Beetlejuice, it's just too much of a not very good thing. I really felt the Michael Keaton character
detracted from a rather nice couple played by Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin. And so the very thing that I thought I would enjoy the most, the Ghostbuster, if you will, was the thing that I enjoyed the least.
You know, I'm with you on this one. And frankly, I walked into this movie knowing nothing about it. I didn't know it was going to be a Ghostbusters clone. And Beetlejuice is absolutely, I mean, you use the word obnoxious. That's what it is. It's not funny. It's just, there's that guy again. Let's get rid of him. Which is not what I expect to think about Michael Keaton.
No, if this were a comedy act, which is really what it is for about 40 minutes, you would walk out after 10 and say, who needs this? It's not funny.
Beetlejuice earned positive critical reviews, but Siskel and Ebert weren't fully convinced. It went on to gross $450 million worldwide.
Another thing I felt last night, you know, when this movie came out, I had a lot of reservations about it.
I know you did.
Based upon the fact that I felt it had all head and no heart. And I still feel that way about the film, that this is a cerebral exercise, not an emotional exercise. But the sad thing is, in the last 15 years, violence in our society has become so pervasive, so much more so even than in 1971, that by now I was able to share some of Kubrick's own detachment more than the first time I saw it.
This is a visionary film. It can be viewed as simply a cool thing, a punk thing, but I think that the power of this film for adults to rent is that it is visionary and as current as it was in 1971.
Clockwork Orange was divisive in its time, with Siskel and Ebert among those who questioned its darker elements. The film went on to earn 4 Oscar nominations.
Now, this is a very big film that tries to say a lot of conventional things about the war, about the arrogance of our war effort. That part of the film is very colorful, impressive, sometimes even memorable. But Apocalypse Now is also after a much bigger target, nothing less, I think, than a speculation on the nature and source of good and evil in the world, how the war came about. On that score, I think it fails completely. The Brando character, who we wait for 2 hours to meet, has nothing to say. And we walk out of Apocalypse Now wondering, what's the big deal?
Apocalypse Now didn't always resonate with critics initially. It went on to win 2 Oscars and became an enduring masterpiece about the Vietnam War.
And you know what? Just because you acknowledge that a gag is corny doesn't make it any funnier. So I give thumbs down for the flying squirrel and his stupid moose of a companion.
Oh, come on. This was a funny movie. This is a funny movie for kids, and it's a funny movie for adults, too, because it has an attitude toward itself, and it's in on the joke. And I really was surprised how much I liked it.
Joke. It's in on the joke. What's the joke?
The joke is that these people are in a cartoon, and they know they're in a cartoon, and it's stupid, and they know it's stupid, and the narrator has an attitude toward it. But also, I want to defend De Niro. Now, you said, what's next? Anthony Hopkins doing Hannibal Lecter shtick. He did Hannibal Lecter shtick in Titus. And as far as De Niro doing his "Are you looking at me?" speech, everybody else on Earth has ripped that off. It's his turn.
Despite the glowing praise from Ebert, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle was a box office failure, grossing just $35 million against a $76 million budget. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Right here. Let's go. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, it's cool. You can go on and lie to me, cause I can see right through your lies. But baby, it's not fazing me, it's cool. Facts. I see them texts you sending me. You know you got them tendencies, and I can be your therapy, it's cool.